It's no news. NMPLOL is getting divorced with Milena. This is like a year ago that it first came out, I believe. Henry Resilience is the individual we're doing the reaction on. He's been covering this case literally since last year, because when I first heard about it, it was from his channel, right? I'm only using this as context because I believe that secularism and just society and the government ruined marriage, God's giving sacrament. It is a God-given sacrament. It's usually connection through religions, and all religions is usually through some form of faith, right? As soon as it became secular and people just used it like some form of a costume, is when it went to shit. Because if you don't have God at the cornerstone of a relationship, who's holding you back from wanting to leave if the only person is yourself? That's what I believe, right? That's why non-default divorces are the highest out of the divorce, because I don't want to do this anymore. I don't feel anymore. I'm just bored, or whatever the bull crap is. When you have someone that you're going to disappoint beyond the person you don't care about anymore, that's usually what's going to help. And you go look at the statistics with religious marriages, non-religious marriages, and which ones last longer, if you don't believe me. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. We are going to be breaking this down. We're not going to be getting at these individuals. This is a touchy subject, and I apologize, Nick, that I have to use this, but it's just good context to drive my point through. So let's take a look.
Insight for the divorce. I mean, hopefully. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever spent more money on something and nothing's gotten done in my life. I really think lawyers just on both sides just file motions so they continue to get paid, because
they do. They really do. I'm not gonna come and say lawyers don't have a heart. When the person is poor, they have a heart. They tend to have a heart because they understand. They may have been there. They came up from something. When they know you have money, they're going to try to milk you. Not all lawyers, but that's usually when you get the heartless ones that get at you. They know you have money, so they know you can pay for all these little extra motions and those little extra stuff that they do. And chances are, unless you're lucky to have one with a heart, you're gonna get robbed.
Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever changes. It's just I honestly, I should have been a fucking lawyer. It is the biggest scam ever. Like,
that's funny.
Ever. Yeah, we're gonna file this motion that's gonna do this, but it gives them, 30 days to reply, but the motion's completely fucking irrelevant. Oh my God, dude. Here's the bill for $9,000, man. We talked for 7 minutes.
The reason Nick's divorce is so polarizing is because he started out claiming there was no drama or fighting.
But I can't say there's no fighting or anything. So if anyone's looking for fighting or drama, it's not there.
Only for Milena to accuse him of financial abuse, which in some of the newest filings, she lays out some of her proof. Combine that with him coming clean, stating he hasn't talked to her in over a year, it's safe to say no one gaslights their audience more than Nick, unless it's Hassan trying to convince people we didn't see him shot Kaya.
America,
don't
Kaya,
bring him up,
please
bro.
just fucking go, just stop.
Going back to the divorce.
At this point, Hassan, you could almost make fun of him in any other way. He's not going to care. If you bring up that dog situation, he just spurgs the fuck out. Like, just, it's crazy how much it triggers him now. You guys literally traumatized him with this situation. It is insane.
Proceedings, Milena also accused Nick of cheating on her while she was tending to her mom. Pointed out how Nick is spending all their money on its Kachi. In the new court documents, she finally names Nora the Explorer and Kachi as having a romantic relationship with Nick, but we will get into that later.
There is no legal separation in Texas. So if you have moved on before that final divorce decree has been signed, that is considered adultery.
This is likely why Nick and Kachi.
That's almost the start of why I wanted to make this video. I think that's stupid. I appreciate Texas's attempt, but it also, I feel like they're taking a religious attempt on marriage. You're not supposed, there's till death do you part, right? You literally said it. How is there no fault divorce if it's till death do you part? You're not dead. You can't leave. I get it though. Someone cheats, someone's hurting you, someone's just crazy manipulating you, just mental breakdown. I get it. That's why there's fault divorces. And proving fault, you get the divorce. No fault divorce is literally what he was saying. The lawyers, the courts, the government, they want their money. You work hard for this money, they want to take it back from you. You're supposed to be a debt slave, but you're smart enough to get ahead of the game, so they're going to take a piece from you. There's no argument beyond it. Because if you look at, go on my channel, YBR Reacts, I broke it down with ChatGPT. It gave information it's not going to give you anymore. They did an update. It went red pill for a moment, even black pill, and then it went back to blue pill. So go watch that video. You'll see it. You're not getting that information for ChatGPT ever again. Non-fault divorce is corrupted. It's corrosive. It ruined marriages. It is just to tax the people for their money. There's no reason for it. You can't just wake up after making such a big decision in any other way of signing a contract and then just say, fuck it, I don't want to do it anymore. You name me the contract other than marriage where you can do that. Go. Because I bought a house. Trust me, I know. I know. You're fucked when you're fucked. You sign a contract for your phone boy, you're fucked when you're fucked, right? Every contract you signed, you have to hold it down. You want it every day. You wish you could get out of it, but you have to hold it down. This one, the biggest one, the most important one, why can you just rid away with it? You woke up just like you don't like Frosted Flakes anymore. I don't like my husband. And I'm sorry, ladies, the percentages of you guys initiating these things under erectile differences or whatever it's called, sorry, not sorry. It is a woman's problem at its majority. It is. You don't get to just walk off. And if you do want to walk off, you don't get any money. That's my rule. If you're at fault, you get half. Sure, you were there. You don't have to work. You did the home stuff, or at the very least, he promised to pay for you. Whatever the case is, yes, when they're at fault, I'm full on women get half. Take half. Why'd you cheat? I'm not saying he did, in general. Why'd you cheat? Whatever it is you did, if you're abusing or whatever it is, if it's proven, she gets half. Because you did not go do your God-given rights in the marriage or whatever the case is. Non-fault divorce, you fucking miss me. It is a come up for women, and if it is not that, it incentivizes it to be a come up for women, and that in itself is the destruction of marriage. A religious sacrament destroyed under the premise of, I just don't like the guy anymore. His dick's not big enough. He doesn't. Well, you shouldn't have got married. 72% women doing it, and then when they're for some reason where they're college educated, it goes up to like 80 or 90. Just there's too many correlations that we could draw there, and that percentage is too high to grant any grace. The majority of those women are just trying to opt out of a contract where nowhere else it is possible to do that. You missed me so fucking far. I must have been blind when you threw the ball, but we'll get back into it.
Are trolling about them having a friendship but keep getting caught slipping.
I'm glad you guys are happy and in love.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I mean, like, yeah, because friends can be in love with each other.
You sure about that?
Friend.
Bro, this girl is just brick-headed. I don't mean it to be offensive, but there's just at some point I thought she was putting on an act. I genuinely think there's not much going up there, but hey, that's how she got to where she got, so I can't knock it. But holy crap, you can't read the fucking room. We are all aware of this. We're not stupid, and I'm not trying to go too deep into it. I don't know anything. But from optics, it is just crazy that he is doing this, knowing that he's in Texas. I don't get it. Because when I heard about that, you're either divorced or you're not divorced. I don't know. I would act like I'm a monk. I would act gay damn near and act like I don't fuck with women until I fully get divorced. You're not taking half my bread under some erectile differences or whatever the fuck it is. If it's under the guidelines of that, remember, if he did cheat, right? Meaning, it wasn't the fact that they separated, but due to Texas law until you do. If it wasn't that and he actually cheated, she should be getting half. If it was they understood that they didn't like each other anymore and then they separated, but he did his thing and then she's trying to use that as some defense to take more money, she's in the wrong. You get it? Is that a hard take? Is that crazy? Or am I going to get male feminists to attack me for that one? Because remember, I'm siding with the women when there's fault.
Which is so true, because friends.
Sure, Nick denied cheating on Milena, right? And how could he? Because Mr. Arthur was all over his at TwitchCon. Nick cheating is going to have a bigger financial impact in his divorce. She was going to file a motion for Nick to buy her a car and give her access to their bank accounts, along with requesting lawyer fees and financial support. While Nick was trying to seal the case like your favorite streamer's RP wife. Milena agreed to temporarily seal it, but where there's a will, there's a way. Maybe Nick doesn't want you to know about how much money he's about to lose on top of the $7,500 a month in spousal support he is already paying. Nick already didn't want my 85-year-old self to read his court docs, but here we are.
You probably might see all the account numbers once the case gets unsealed and you guys can go through my documents, because I don't know why in God's green earth, divorces are public knowledge. So you have your opportunities soon enough, motherfucker. Or you can watch an illiterate man, who's 85 try and go through the documents if you want to do it that way too.
I'm assuming Henry didn't put his face out prior to this, so he just presumed, because I remember at the time, I don't think he did face reveal. So he probably thought it was an 85-year-old man. That's where the context comes from. But clearly you see he's like in his 30s, maybe, I don't know, 40s, anywhere from late 20s to early 40s. Not throwing that at you, brother. It's just, I don't know. I'm giving a wide range. He's not 85.
Okay.
I'm like, what do you say me for?
Listen, you guys call me an idiot for getting another lawyer to explain stuff, but you guys are the same people that listen to Henry fucking Resilient and think he's telling the truth. Hello?
I just show the court, dog.
Like, you call me the idiot? Look in the mirror.
Nick,
Shout out, brother. Shout out. Appreciate you looking at my comment and then giving liking it too. Just shows that you do acknowledge people. There's something to tell where someone actually reads comments still when they have a decent amount of followers, where it's hard to track that stuff. So he really goes to the comments, right? So I'll give him that. Now, I will say this. I do agree. It's sad that things are out in the public. Hey, I am reacting to it, but I'm just trying to use it to drive a point through. I'm not trying to disparage a guy or attack him or anything like that. This is a very scary situation. And if I could cook for a second, guys, I am just once again really against no-fault divorce. I like Texas's attempt to keep people together by making it really hard to just move on, right? Without going through the process that a lot of people like to avoid because the end game of it, the end result. But with that being said, you don't allow, because you're gonna find out where if he's cheating or if he cheated, she ends up like super getting more. Like, oh, now he cheated? Now you get 70% instead of 50. Why is it 50 enough? I'm agreeing with 50, even though I understand you probably want to take it subjectively for every situation. What if the chick was working? So why does she get 50? If she's not working, makes more sense to get 50. You get what I mean? But 70? 70? And then we have to take into account how Texas works. If they separated and he ended up talking to someone else, how would they be able to prove that if it wasn't through text or it can't be documented? What if it was just a verbal, yeah, we'll talk to other people? And then she uses that in an advantage. Not saying she did. I'm saying you open the avenue for that to be a possibility when you have laws like this. So Texas, where you almost had it right, you dropped the ball. You dropped it and then you punted it after. What the fuck are you talking about? Someone could get 70%. At that point, no, there ain't no kitchen job. There ain't no taking care of no damn kid that's worth 70% of the man's dollar. You understand? Especially since she could go off and date someone else. Date, not marry, date. And then she'll still get that spousal support, because how do you know they're dating? What if they're just friends? It's very similar with the Catchy situation at the very least. They're friends for all we know. They have never went a public necessary. Well, they're right. You get what I mean? We're using our optic, but they've never said that they were dating. They've never said it. It could be used also in the reverse if she decides to take spousal support and then just say she's not dating someone where she damn near be gobstopping the guy's cock off. You get what I mean?
Divorce is
All
about
the
to get
course
more
just for them
expensive
to make
because
money.
Milena
That's
is
what pisses me off
officially
the most.
asking for more than
Playing
half,
with
and I
God's
suspect
sacrament just
Tectone
for you
knew
to
this
make
because he
money.
said this in a
Oh,
clip.
right.
I'm gonna say a hot take. I think Milena treated Nick like shit. I do. I am genuinely someone in the side of, I think Nick was actually too good for Milena. I think Milena was a vile, bitter, cruel, disgusting person. I've never had anybody be worse to me than Milena, because she's very pro-woman. Yeah, no, I mean, I think NMP just lost a lot of weight and wanted to lock the in order to secure a girl. That way he...
Not saying he's wrong, but he did kind of admit a bias, right? If she's one of those feminists, and if you know Tectone, he just goes straight off the hip, right? He sounds like you're giving a bias, bro. And plus, he's your buddy, too. I'm not knocking it. Tectone usually speaks on truth, and he sounds like he's hiding something. Like, he knows that she is kind of like that, and he's just not fully coming out and saying it. So I will grant some credence, but... Right, there is bias.
You would see that Nick can succeed even without her. And now she's trying to take 70%, which is like, ugh, Jesus. I mean, damn. And it's crazy how the internet is so against NMP that they actually think she deserves all that money and Nick doesn't deserve any of it.
70% is a very specific number, and Tectone didn't come to that conclusion just himself. He didn't just guess that. Chances are he spoke to Nick and Nick told him.
Accusation!
Based on a response to an interrogatory, she is demanding a disproportionate share of the estate based on Nick being at fault, and you combine that with his alleged financial abuse. Now, before we go forward, I want to point out that all these court documents were legally obtained. As I stated, my channel out is purely to educate people on divorce. Despite Nick's strong feelings about me or my ability to read, as someone who has been in his shoes while being divorced, just pay her the money. I get it, whatever she's asking.
I love that. For people thinking he's, because I don't know, but now I can see the man's been divorced. He's making this video the same way I'm making the video, and it makes sense why he likes my comment. I really don't like this disparagingness of the fact that, bro, I'm telling you right now, divorce the way it is now is to fuck the man over. It's to fuck the breadwinner over, but you have to understand men have always been the breadwinner. So even though it is now shifting, the court is not shifting with the tides. Women work and make their own money. They have for the past couple decades. But the courts take a very long time to change their laws, and they are still biased to men as if we're in the fucking 1950s. That is the truth. I've taken family law. I'm not going to be able to recant much for you guys, so you have to take my anecdote. It is fried for men. I will tell you this. They could take your hunting license. That's the one that will always stick with me. They could pause your driver's license or something like that. They could take your hunting license. Of course, they could reach for your stocks and your bonds and everything. You know, that's common sense. But also his Yu-Gi-Oh, his Pokemon cards, bro. She could force him to sell his collection. And if she does do that, Milena, bro, you're being malicious. At that point, you are being malicious. There's certain things in which you should just leave the guy's Pokemon collection. Y'all got more than enough money to split. That is malice at that point if you make him sell those or have to sell it maybe at a lower cost. See, those are the kind of things you got to know. Now, I will say if it goes under a fault divorce and they're able to prove that he cheated, prove that he was neglecting her, prove that he was withholding funds, anything like that, I'm not to say, you know, what's justified, not justified, but I wouldn't argue or complain if she got to get her just dues. 50. Technically, I say her adequate amount she should get, but 50, 70%, are you fried in the brain? You fried? How does it even make any sense? Why are you incentivizing for women to get a payout at that magnitude just because of a mess up? It's till death do you part. That means everything before that, you're supposed to work on it together. And then if they did, and remember, once again, it's fault, then yeah, give her what her adequate amount is. If she stayed home, cooked, clean, blah, 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 that equates for 50. They don't have kids. They're rich. They probably have maids or something like that. They live in an org house with a bunch of other people paying for maids. Why does she get 50? What does she do other than be his wife? You ever thought about that? When you really break this down, I don't need to know their situation much to at least confirm those things, those big factors that usually I will grant the woman to say, yo, you get 50. You get 50, bro. You took care of the kids. Right? You stayed at home and this guy was going out here cheating. Not saying he did in general. You get 50. If you had everything that usually a woman stereotypically should have done by some paid maid or some shit, and you were just sucking the man off, no, you don't get 50. You should get enough to rent a place, you know, for however long, so as long as you confirm to check that you're trying to get a job, you're trying to get a home yourself, you're trying to find another person if that's the path so he can stop paying for you. Those are the things that I would agree with. But not some endless until you die. I just have to pay for your shit. Like I don't have to move on and pay for another wife. And it always goes back to the courts. They're just trying to milk money. The lawyers milk money. The judge gets the money. The court system gets the money. The government gets the money. It's just for money. Stop playing with God. This is a God-given sacrament. And you're mixing up mammon with God. I'm telling you right now, assuredly I say to you, I am not the king. But this is right in your book. Anyone, the lawyers, the deceptive motherfuckers, and even these women. You think you're getting away with this. You are fucking yourself on a spiritual level so bad you can't even fathom it. Because you want to go get your bread and then live the best life on earth to give up your heavenly place in earth for breaking a sacrament that's supposed to only be broken by death. And then if we grant credence, as I said, for the fault reasons, okay, we'll line that up. But then you take that and you break it under a no fault because you don't like frosted flakes anymore. You want honeycombs. You're writing your book. I'm not gonna call you out your name, but when you get to when you get to heaven or whatever, and they're like, hey, so you did X, Y, and Z, and then they press that button, you fall down. Don't be shocked. That's all I have to say. Don't be shocked. If you're one of the specific individuals that maliciously did it because they want to go one up on some bread and find some other guy, because I'm bored. I'm bored. That emotion I felt, I just don't feel it anymore, bitch. Yes, I'm calling that specific person that, because that you don't get to do that. You work it out. You figure it out. You go to counseling. You damn near have to stick it through. People downplay how marriage is. That's why they're going to say, I'm being rash. I'm not being fair. Every secular bullshit response that they're going to give you. No. Secular people, I agree with Andrew. Don't get married. It's a religious sacrament. It's not meant for you to just use as your freaking costume. Because what you guys are doing is you're ruining it for religious people. You're scaring away men, especially, to want to get married, especially religious men. And then what does that do? It forces them then to have unmarital sex. If I'm not getting married, I'm not gonna not have sex forever. Celibacy is the point to get married, because you have sex. You only can fight the flesh for so long. But then when you scare them away from marriage, you're forcing them into sin. Another thing that you're writing your book for. So you gotta really watch yourselves. And if you're secular, you're not gonna hear me. You don't care. You don't believe in God. But holy smokes, when that day comes, man, that day comes, it's going to suck. And I'm not saying that to get at you. Just legitimately, it's going to suck. And anyone who says that part in the video, go click this nigga's link. I'm going to put it in there. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to drive a point through.
For it may seem like it's unfair, but I promise you, Nick, you will make it back. Instead of giving the lawyers money, put it in their settlement and save on lawyer fees. Yes, for the record, Nick is right. I am just a father trying to feed my daughter. Nick, thank you for making it possible. I really appreciate that. Nick complains about how expensive the divorce is while simultaneously dragging out the divorce process because early on, Milena had to file a motion to compel him to share mostly financial documents.
Motion to compel in family court is when you are asking the court to basically court order them to answer their discovery questions or produce documents that you had originally asked in the discovery phase.
But he was happy to pay her half, right?
No.
Now, before we get into all his publicly available court docs, we really should wish him a happy 10-year anniversary, as he has been married over 10 years. Remember, in Texas, you're either married or you're single. Texas does not acknowledge separation dates.
If you and your spouse are no longer together, but y'all are technically still married, did you know that half of all the property that you acquire, half of it belongs to your spouse? And of course, I'm a Texas attorney, so anything that I discuss on this TikTok only applies to Texas. Now, what a lot of people don't know is Texas does not recognize legal separation. So in Texas, you're either married.
Hey, bro, I really tried to not say this, but yo, what's going on with that makeup, bro? What is going on with that makeup, madam? There's some colorism conversation that we need to get in, because you went way beyond the point of reasoning with this one. And if that is a filter, you're still not getting away with the allegations. What the hell? I know this girl is like 3 shades darker than what she's trying to portray herself as. And I get it. You're in Texas and you're a lawyer. Maybe you're just trying, you know what? I'll take it back. There might be some reasonings behind it, but I hope you love your skin, mom. That's all it is. Skin your
or you're not.
Since his marriage crossed a 10-year line, signifying a long-term marriage, that puts Milena in a position to secure easily $300,000 in spousal maintenance. But because he already agreed to pay her $7,500 a month, maybe she's in a position to secure $450,000, but this could offset should she actually be awarded or given the 70% of the marital estate.
There's 2 types of why? This is the shit I'm talking about. Why? Why is it he went out of his way, say, hey, blah, 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 XYZ reason, I will pay you spousal support. Sure, take the money. But that locks him into a double dip payment now? You guys give credence to the red pill to go off and say this crap that they say. You guys can't sit here, ladies, sorry, because at the vast majority of 70% of the time is you guys with a no fault. So I'm pointing it at you. I don't care about the minuscule amounts. you're fucking up the game, bro. Look at this level of greed. If she doesn't take it, that's one thing. She takes it. It is very telling. These are the things. She takes this little extra when you take so much gesture, and then you're vengeful for whatever the reason. So now you're gonna double dip, triple dip, get him to sell his Pokemon cards. That's where Milena will lose me. I don't care about their situation. I don't want to get in there. I'm not attacking this girl. At the end of the day, we don't know the story. We don't know the story. We don't know if there was abuse. I doubt there was, right? We just don't. And when I say that, I mean verbal or like manipulation kind of thing, right? We don't know, even to the point where there's religious, right, ways to go about a marriage that a secular person will look at as being controlled or demanding. Is that fair to say? He married a secular person and maybe he's not a religious person himself. He should find God. Would have found a God-fearing woman. Maybe that's a Filipino chick that he's friends with now, right? Because that would have been easier to understand these things that may have been coming off as if he was being controlling, but more so that is just to a certain degree a man's job when you think about the religious roles. You can watch Andrew Wilson about this. He really goes into depth with the whole secular marriage, religious marriage kind of thing. And when you try to conflate the two, it's not going to work. So like, brother, listen, you are a man of faith. You cannot date a secular person who does not believe God, does not believe in Jesus Christ. At least if you're a Christian. If you're a Muslim, right, you go for a Muslim date. You can't date a secular person, or at least I would highly disadvise it, because it is water and oil. It is water and oil. I did also want to add, I used to watch these guys on stream, you know, just watch clips and stuff. I noticed from like the beginning, maybe, you know, I don't know how long ago, but like there was a point where they looked like they loved each other. There was good energy. Their streams were popping up. They were happy. And I noticed the moment it died out, I was like, bro, these guys hate each other. I literally said, I'm like, yo, they damn near, it made me forget that they were married. That's how much of a disconnect, and it was so obvious on stream, and people know what I'm talking about. And that's when I found Henry's video, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could find the comment. I'm like, I fucking knew it. I knew they were getting a divorce. I felt it in my soul. They hated each other, guys. That's how obvious it was. Now, we don't know what caused it. We don't know. We don't know if this guy cheated. You can't just put that on the man. He is dating the girl after there was clear conflict. We know how Texas law works, so on paper he might be fucked, but we don't know if they had a conversation and they didn't like each other. We don't know if this woman, I'm not throwing it at her, but maybe fell out of love, stopped giving him that certain attention that he wants to the point where he wanted to separate. But they just live in a state where you just cannot do that. We don't know if he was doing all the stuff that she's saying, which I doubt she's lying about everything, right? I'm pretty sure something there's lining up there, and she has a reason for feeling like he's not the right person. And also from my understanding, she was very young when they got married. She was like 19 or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, 19 or 20. That is no excuse, because you went in, hold out. You don't get the, oh, I was young and I knew better. No. That's not how it works. We're only going off if this guy did malicious shit to you. That's where I grant you credence 50%. I'm not the lawyer, I get it, but that's where I think morally it would be right. There's no situation you're going to bring up to me where you deserve 70. No situation. Because when you are talking about this much money and being at this caliber, you don't need more than 50. Damn near you don't even need 50. So you're not giving me any argument for that 70. And I would love for someone who's not a male feminist, fuck, if you're a male feminist, go in the comments. I'm going to roast your ass.
Alimony in Texas. There's temporary alimony, and then there's alimony that would occur after the divorce process is finalized. Alimony after the divorce is finalized is disfavored in the state of Texas. What the court would rather do is give the party who needs alimony a disproportionate share of the community estate.
So I've seen Nick at his lowest, at his highest, and legally, I do agree that Milena's entitled to a certain good amount because she was married, but I don't think that percentage that you talk about, which is 50%, I don't think that she deserves that. No offense. Exactly. I do think that she did a lot. I know she was like a soldier on the front lines. She was working pretty hard. She did deserve something. But the amount that she's legally entitled to by the law, probably not. But like I said, it's still legally entitled to. So that's a whole different topic.
This is based on most of the court orders she filed on September 17th. This was a victory for Nick because remember, he wanted mediation. He requested the court compel Milena to enter mediation, and it was granted. Mediation officially started September 30th, but not sure how it's going considering he's still not streamed on his main channel, and according to Milena's filing, she's still locked out of the marital accounts. Should mediation become a failure, there are some key dates that Nick has coming up. If Nick and Milena fail to agree on a buyout date, according to the judge's notes, the two will have a trial date set for January 12th, 2026. The date of December 15th, 2025, that was set, which may turn into a settlement conference since it's already on the books. Expert opinion reports are due October 31st and may be amended up until November 12th. This is for evaluations of companies like OTK and a handful of other businesses they own. Depositions are to be completed by November 14th. Do not get your hopes up. Short of them leaking depositions of each other, they will likely never see the light of day. Lastly, pretrial evidence, witness lists, and exhibits are due December 10th. Before that, there are some other dates. Don't worry about him commenting on this because both of them are enjoined from doing so. On July 30th, they both agreed not to make public comments regarding their ongoing divorce. It's in his best interest to come to a deal because Nick is on the hook for legal fees. He already shelled out $25,000 to our lawyers. Should mediation be unsuccessful, Nick will have to pay another $25,000 to our lawyers. On top of that, Nick has to pay Milena's experts $25,000. All of this money is to come out of community funds. Any money Milena receives, Nick will get a credit for when it comes down to the financial settlement number.
Nick, I don't like how it's worded. You know, when you're married, it's both of your money. You don't get to run off and say because the man made it, it's his money. He was supposed to make it. She's supposed to be doing the home stuff, right? Now, where this situation gets a little weird is it's like a secular marriage, how I see it. They don't have kids. He was already rich, so I doubt she needed to do anything. They don't need to cook. She doesn't need to cook. They could just get a chef. They could buy food. If you tell me she did all these things, different story. But it would seem like this would be a case where she married into just being like just a luxury life. And to a certain degree, that's kind of on Nick, right? He got her married her when she was young, I think, right? He wanted to be the breadwinner. You know, you got this pretty girl you thought was pretty, right? And I'm just going to take care of her and we're going to be married forever, right? I probably would have read into it a little differently and just kind of looked out for certain things and equated for certain things, right? But hey, it's not my marriage. I'm trying so hard just to be bipartisan and not dig too deep in this guy's situation because I feel bad. Look at him. Before I even play it, this guy looks broken. If you know this guy and you watch him long enough, he's the one that always tries to put a smile on people's face. Cool guy, lay back, chills dude. When you see someone like that break, like their impeccable shield that they have built up for so long breaks, bro, they broke. This shit is fucking him, bro. That's why I feel bad, man. I'm not trying to get at Milena, as XQC said. She is entitled to something. Her worth. Equate what her value was in the marriage and pay her adequately for that. You don't just get a flat line of 50. Think about it like this. Mom, 3 kids, slaved with those kids for 10 years. Bro, when I tell you children and then 3 children, what if they only have 1 car in some situations, so she had to bus it with those kids? Those type of scenarios, 50%. 50%, man. Because that work is damn near sometimes harder than the breadwinner. Sometimes niggas have a job where it just works out, bro. He's just streamer, bro. Just streamer. His job is not hard. Being a mom would be hard in that scenario, but since you don't have kids, and she said she was just the wife, right? The wife, and that's to his own. That's his situation. Why does she get 50? Because she sat around for 10 years? Yeah, actually, I think I brought up a good point. Assuming that for those 10 years, it was a distraught 10 years and he was controlling and overbearing and blah, 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 then you know what? Even in her situation, if there's a fault, maybe that is 50%. You know, I'm kind of all over the place, but you have to think about it. You can't get that time back. Time is the most important thing. This is assuming that they were in a relationship and for a good sect amount of time, like, I don't know, 5 years in, he started to become a demon to her. You can't spend no money. You can't go outside. Blah, 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 all that type of stuff. You took away ample time for her, especially for women, to secure an actual loving partner, assuming that is the case. That's why we really have to just not go too deep on this. Wait all things plan out. But I'm on the stance in which you should prove to get 50%. I'm not saying it should not be equated. It should not be rewarded. You should have to really have means to prove that you deserve that money. It is not fair just for any goal situation. 50%. Oh, 50%. I just gave you the kid situation. So why does the one that struggled with kids get 50, and then the one who did fuck all, if that is the case, gets 50? Why does that? Is that fair now for the mom that struggled more? And then you have to say, oh, then the mom gets 70. So then the guy basically has to just work his life off and get paid less at a detriment, working, like literally working against himself. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I believe? And this is what Andrew believes. This is a religious sacrament. If you want a secular marriage, recreate it and call it something else or whatever the fuck, and you guys go have fun. But this should be dealt with in the church. Because the church will hold people accountable, especially when they're at fault. Trust me, they will hold them accountable. And then it should be through the church. It should have never went to the state. It should have never went to the state, because I promise you, the means was just for the courts to make money. You think the government gives a fuck about your marriage? Do you? Oh, it's for tax purposes. Bro, look at all this shit. How much of a benefit were the taxes when you see how much of an L emotionally and financially it causes on people? That was a cop-out. They had to give you something on a stick to bring it over to the state side. Taxes. We're going to cut your taxes. How about you just fuck the fuck off on people's relationships? Because you don't care about it. You should never be fucking handling the situation. It's the same thing where you say, don't send cops to go deal with a special person, because they just know how to react. The guy acts up, they're going to shoot him because they have to protect themselves when they never should have been the motherfuckers to go there anyways. They have no idea what to do. It's almost like you're forcing death on the person you call cops on a deranged person. They need medical certain care. Tase the motherfucker and bring him to a special place with a straitjacket and look into it. You get what I'm saying? You should have the adequate force and the right individuals to handle a situation. You should have never been dealt with or very little should be with the government. Very freaking little. You want your tax benefits, you want your tax benefits. But an annulment or just a plan on divorce should be through the courts. And I get it. If you're not religious, then go make off your own fucking secular marriage and go call it something else. Don't take God's sacrament and then shit on it with your personals and your mammon talks. That's where you miss me. That's where you miss me.
I audit attorney fees. Look up legal audit services if they tell you to pay for Milena's fees.
It doesn't work that way. It's all community estate.
For example, let's say she ends up collecting $200K in support and legal fees, and Nick uses about $100K for his legal fees. Then it turns out the combined community estate is worth $1 million. Then Nick would only owe Milena $300,000 to finalize divorce. But I suspect they're worth more than $1 million, and Milena will walk away with more than 50% anyway, as she has a slam dunk case. Do not worry, we will get to the community assets listed in the court filings. Continue to go through the agree orders. Nick has to reissue a new credit card for Milena from their Chase account. Remember, she claimed she was frozen out of all the accounts, and it looks like she will have a credit card now. But I saw no mention of her having access to any other accounts in the court filings. So maybe the judge just is going to let Nick continue to control all of the family accounts and pay her out of it. When it comes to smaller personal property, Nick has to inventory it, and Nick has to grant access to his home or her attorneys and a third-party designee to inspect personal property. But also for the Pokemon and Magic the Gathering cards will be categorized and appraised. Since the order went into effect on September 17th, it's safe to say it happened already.
Flashback.
Oh my god! Yes! Nora! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
$8,500. All three. I can't believe it, dude.
How rare is that?
I've never seen it. You pulled it! Oh my god! Oh my god! What the? It's a real box. I got it from Island. I paid $10K for it. Perfect box. You wanna know why it's perfect? Because a perfect person did all the pulls.
Cheesy. That's cheesy. This is what I was talking about too, bro. If she gets him to sell this, it's malice. It's malice. Are we gonna agree the Pokemon cards is not what's going to pay the bills? Can we agree on that? It's probably the money he makes from streaming and his job, and maybe money he saved and like crypto money. That's probably where there's more than enough. She forces him to sell this. I'm telling you, it is out of malice. And Melina will, that you lose it for me there. I can't protect you at that point. There should be no malice in this, especially since, as I said, death do your part, right? So that if I'm granting credence to understand that, yeah, there's certain things that will mean, yeah, you just shouldn't be with this person. You should be able to walk out. I agree, right? But walk out. Get your just due and walk out. Don't try to ruin the person's life. Don't take the dog, even though you don't like dogs, but you know it's gonna hurt him. So I took the dog because they said I could take it. Don't make him sell his Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards for down on the dollar, or just damn near because you want to keep it and give it to his kids or some shit, because you just want to fuck with his day. That's where you lose me. I'm not saying she did or not do, but this is an option. So we will wait to see. We will wait to see, and this will paint a certain picture. We will get a better idea on who's showing malice, right? At the end of the day, right? So it's a whole bunch of stuff. One thing that is getting me is if he withheld the money from her and spending money, you can't do that, bro. You guys share, it's your money, right? Even down to back in the days, people wanted to be like how it was back in the days. A woman could spend off all your money and then they don't have to pay that debt. That debt is on the guy, right? And I kind of agree with that if you're following that traditional way. They're not. I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. So it's hard for me to kind of figure out how to equate this necessarily, but I do know if you weren't living traditionally, it's leaning less likely that I will say it's fair to give you 50%. Because then I have to ask, what did you do to justify, if he's worth 5 mil, what did you do to justify 2.5 million? I related to someone who actually had to grind to get that, right? I want you to equate that worth there. You don't have to literally create the business, but some sort of labor that would match someone who had to grind their ass off to make $2.5 million, guys. How much have you made in your life? You ever thought about that? That's why I feel like it's unfair. Who gets to come up like that other than people who win the lottery? Then you take the percentage of the chances of winning the lottery. Women actually have the best lottery in the fucking world. Men, you gotta choke 1 in a bajillion. Women, I just don't want to be with you anymore. Thanks for fucking putting a ring on my face. It's not their fault. You know, this is where I'm getting. People think I'm blaming them. Not necessarily. I blame the incentive. I always go for, if you open up an avenue for somebody, it's human nature for them to take it. That still doesn't excuse you from doing it, but I get if someone makes it something look so delicious, it's going to push you towards it. And that's what the courts did. It's the same thing they did with the single mom shit. Oh, she just wanted to leave her man. No, not always. Sometimes the guy's a piece of shit. And sometimes they were enticed, still their fault, to do it because I'd rather get the government to pay me and give me money than have to listen to another person, right? And then not thinking about the child. Shit goes so deep, and they don't have kids, but that would be something you would look into too, right? You would have to look into it. It's a whole mess. It is literally a whole mess. This is crazy, right? And I'm glad, bro, Henry, if you see it to this point, bro, God bless you, man. I hope. I hope. It seems like you may have gone fucked over in the marriage, hence why I push you to make this type of content, bro. That's the shit it does. It destroys men, guys. It's meant to literally destroy men. Not fair. Not fair. I'm so against this. Me personally, it makes me struggle to think to get married, and it's because the high incentive for women to leave. I'm not saying they're evil. I'm not saying that they're malicious. They will go into it with good means. Women just don't marry. There's a very finite amount of piece of shit women that marry just to rob the nigga. It's such an astronomical low percentage. I don't even think it's worth bringing up. What happens is they go in for proper means, but then they will use their emotional outlook on the marriage as time goes on to feel justified to opt out. And then what happens is the law or the court gives them that ability, the incentive to do it, and that only builds the case more, right? You should be going through counseling. You should be trying to work it out till death do us part. Why the fuck is it still in the vows if it is irrelevant, if it's an oxymoron at this point? I don't understand. Maybe it's because people are mainly not religious. And if you're not religious, it's irrelevant. It's just words. It sounds nice, right? That's what people say. It sounds like, no. You could try to dodge accountability on earth through flesh, you're going to have to answer to Jesus when that time comes. I hope you are ready, whether man or woman. But at 70% more women, I hope you're ready to face that. Enjoy your money, enjoy the guy's house, enjoy you go fucking net or whatever the fuck while you're getting that spousal support. It's for the flesh, it's a temporary gain for earthly desires. If you are saying you're of faith and you did this, holy, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
End of flashback. It will be interesting if he has to give her cards she wants, or will she want cash instead?
If you want to keep your Pokemon cards after a divorce, you either put it in a prenup or a postnup, and as long as it says you get them after the divorce, you'll be able to keep them.
Last part of the order states Milena has to set up a
like, they're fucking Pokemon cards, bro. I get it. They have high value. But do you not get the insanity of that? Like the courts are aware of this shit. It's collectibles. They're not literally saying Pokemon cards. It's like collectibles, right? Like stamps even. We're not gonna watch the full thing. You should watch this guy's video. You should go see the breakdown. I'm not trying to rip the guy's entire content. I feel like I drew my point across, right? I'm vehemently, if that's a word, against no fault divorce. It was created in late, just before the 1900s, if I'm not mistaken. It was, or if anything, early 1900s. It was started in California, right? California, out of all fucking places, right? The devil's pit. But yeah, it was started in California, and I promise you, it was to rob the man of the money. It was the courts wanting to get a one-up on funds that we were never supposed to have, because we're supposed to be debt slaves. You're supposed to work a shitty 9-to-5 job, make big man 1% money, shut up and die. That's what it's supposed to be. But some people got brains. And the avenue to become good capitalism, why I like it, is because those same rich people had to use the capitalism to get to that point. They just push the information and hide it from you so you never get to that point. But they have to leave the door open. They have to, or else they wouldn't have been able to do it themselves. And that's where you have individuals that are entrepreneurs, right? They figure out the game, they beat the rat race, if that makes any sense, and they become something. So what these piece of shits did was, oh yeah, you want to come up and not be a slave? All right, well then we're gonna lock you in through divorce. We know you like pussy, know you want to get married, you know it. So we're gonna create this little workout way. Now, they think about it like this. I'm gonna end it off with this, but I really have to drive the point across how useless no fault divorce is. There's already fault divorce. They try to use this excuse, like, no, what excuse are you gonna use for no fault divorce if there's already an avenue to get divorced if you're at fault? Why do you need no fault? Oh, because sometimes it's hard to prove. Is it supposed to be easy just to leave a contract? No, it's not that hard to prove. If someone's abusing you, I'm not downplaying it. Please understand, I'm not downplaying. Record it. Record the audio. Send it to the courts. That's what people do to prove it. Right? Cheating's a little bit harder. I get it. I really, really get it. But even then, if you don't have proof of the guy cheating, how do you even know? How do you know? Right? And if you did have proof, there's probably some way you could take a video, so your friend took a video or something, or else how would you even know it was factual? You're just going off your feelings. You know what I mean? So those are cop-outs in my eyes, all the way down to what's called erectile basically the word, it sounds like I'm saying erectile dysfunction. It means I got bored. That's what it means. Like 70% of the time, it means I got bored. What I was sold on wasn't what it was. These are things you need to equate for before you get married. The problem is people downplay marriage. They think it's like, oh, well, I'm 30, time to find someone to get married. No. Fuck no, that's not how it works. You're fucking the system up. You're fucking the statistics up. You're fucking the whole game up. Now you have a whole race of men, just a whole litany of men that are scared shitless to get married and start the next generation. So what do we have? We have a whole bunch of kids being born without wedlock. No connection with the family. What does that do? Well, you're free to leave. You're not married, right? So now you have single moms raising single kids. What will happen with those kids? Sometimes they turn out good and they learn from their mistakes. More often than not, they turn out as piece of shits in the world that ruin the world. No, it's not only black people. It's every fucking child. It is just overall a net negative. And I always go back to it's just because these crap fucks want to make $1. Holy smokes, when I tell you Jesus is gonna come and have a judgment. I'm gonna be judged too. I'm gonna be judged for my shortcomings. But some people just write their book in a way where I don't understand. It's like almost malicious. If you can make mistakes in life, you go work towards repentance. It's when you keep walking in that darkness and you're being malicious about it. Like, I'm gonna do this shit. I just don't understand. You have something in you that I'll pray for you. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, guys. I don't care what you think, in the sense where this subject just hits me hard. I know I'm not divorced. No, I've never walked down this avenue in any way. You know, women have never done me wrong, right? I just don't like unfairness and injustice, and I truly believe it is. It ruins men's life. It plays into the deletion rate of men, just for the sake of what? Someone to have a couple dollars for their lifetime. Eternity's in heaven. Don't rob yourself of that. Any fleshly desire is what I'll end it off with. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. You guys already know what it is. Follow this man here, Henry Resilient. I watched his video last time. I like his content. I don't think he's malicious. He went through a divorce, so he's trying to show men how to guide their way through the situation. What better than an anecdote of someone who got divorced to show you how to do that, man? Shout out to you, brother. God bless you. I hope everything ended up to work out for the best. Here's your channel, so clearly it did. Hopefully you'll find a new woman who actually loves you. I don't know if you're religious, but if you are, that is the best chance you have. Where she fears God, she is not going to do the piece of crap stuff that a lot of these women. Also, it's not all women. Sometimes genuinely the guy was a piece of crap. I'm not trying to go there. I do know it exists. It's just only such a small percentage. I'm not going to spend my time on it. Most men will take care. They try to do their best, and they just, unfortunately, the woman just falls out of love. I get it. That's natural. I don't believe it's right. I really don't. It will play into the psyche, I guess, of women, right? To showcase, at the very least, men know how to unconditionally love. If you guys want to scapegoat off of this, that means you guys do not know how to. So what do you want to pick here? Where do you want to pick here? It's not going to end well. And please get at me in the comments, but just try to be fair. I know I get a little rash. Try to be fair. I'll go back and forth with you. I'm very reasonable when it comes to comments. Use a snippy type of shit, I might ignore you, or I'm going to make you look fucking stupid. Because you are stupid, probably. Easy.